We are just over a week from the start of the MLS season, and while I will have your MLS previews coming up next week, we are wrapping up the biggest offseason in MLS season, and it's not even remotely close. If MLS takes a leap this offseason from last season, next season, and probably the next, it will have caught up to many, if not all the leagues. Not all the leagues, but I'm just telling you. I mean, that is a significant jump when you talk about the money invested, when you talk about the new rules, when you talk about the push to find new things about soccer that other leagues may not be doing. MLS is in the throes of that. And we will talk about all of that here on the Soccer OG. Sorry about the click. Like, subscribe, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm being inspired by my buddy MLS Moves and Will. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. We are going on a journey together, which is going to last for 9 months. And with what's happened in this offseason, this is a journey you're going to want to be on if you're an old guard MLS fan or if you're new to the sport and you haven't picked up a team. This is a good spot for you to get the information that you need and stay equipped. I also want to point out, I don't want to bury the lead here, that we have new studio digs. What do you guys think? It's a work in progress. I might lose the monitor. Thinking about getting some nice vegetation here, some bells and whistles on the wall. But we built this, Bredos West Coast Studio 1. This is going to be leased out to folks at the World Cup. I'm going to make money on this. This is a beautiful, spacious studio, and you're getting the first look at it. You're going to see it everywhere. Rent it out to international broadcasters so they can be here for the World Cup and the Olympics in Los Angeles. So the preview comes next week, but I want to talk about some big ticket items that are going to serve you well. Did I tell you to subscribe? Yes, I did. Serve you well as you prepare for the season. The first one, MLS Season Pass announcing their talent roster. I can break the news. I will be back with Brian Dunseth. We already have our first 6-7 week schedule. It is phenomenal, and I'll give you more details. I don't want to give you that right now, but first weekend could not be happier. 2 big games that will be coming to you, so stay tuned for that. But MLS Season Pass and Apple TV, a bit of a thorn in the side of Major League Soccer in one sense. Not in the sense that you have an engaged partner that is committed to broadcasting all the games, that have done new things for the league, broadcasting MLS worldwide. You can see MLS in every corner of the world. But the limitations with, certainly in the United States, that you can't have as many viewers because you have to let this thing grow, and it will grow, and it is growing. But you can't just sit around and wait. So MLS Season Pass, in addition to announcing the rosters, had a lot of important adjustments this season. So just for the viewer, it's available on Android, so you can see it there on your Android devices. If you're a T-Mobile customer, you can get it for free. There's family sharing that you can see as well that you can use that. Fox is engaged as well, and there's a few other elements that I can't remember at the top of my head, but I imagine they will continue to do this. The fact that they're making it more available means that they're going to continue moving in that direction, so this product is in front of more eyeballs. This didn't happen in Season 2 under Apple. It's happening in Season 3, and it's very exciting that you are going to get access to this games. There's going to be more free games. There's more free games if you're T-Mobile. T-Mobile's dope, man. I've already told you about that. You get a lot if you're T-Mobile. Maybe it's a little more expensive, but I have T-Mobile. My international roaming, I get free T-Mobile on the airlines and as well this. So that is all exciting. Small steps as they build towards that. And there is also a lot more programming. I mean, stuff that it's just common sense, I think, in the big picture. Having a tentpole Sunday night game. They're going to have Jake, Taylor Twellman, and Andrew Wiebe. A very well produced, lot of focus, big feature game that's going to draw a lot of eyeballs. That's what you need in sports, in everything. We've seen it with the NFL, the UFC, tentpole events. You put them in there. They've also staggered a lot of the Saturday games. There's a lot more games on different days or different times over the weekend. So, the big criticisms that MLS fans couldn't watch as much MLS games. Now you can. So that is exciting. They're going to have programming through the week on the YouTube channels, the Facebook channels, the social media channels of of MLS. So that's good. They're going to keep the viewer, the audience informed. Also with the Leagues Cup, they've made some adjustments there where it's going to be Liga MX versus MLS. It's not going to be a month-long tournament, so they're going to make some moves on the Leagues Cup, which should draw in some more fans. And it also bolsters up the US Open Cup by allowing more MLS fans, more MLS teams to be on there, because not every MLS team plays in the Leagues Cup. The top 18 teams do, however they determine that. So you've got, it's not a month long, you've got MLS versus Liga MX, and I think eventually the big one, they'll have games in Mexico. I would be shocked if in 3 years, let's say 3 years, maybe 2 years, there's not games in Mexico. So that is really exciting. So that's the big one I wanted to mention of these ticket items for MLS. The next one is the cash trade apparatus, the mechanism that has happened here. And we saw it this week in living color when Lucho Acosta wanted out of Cincinnati. We already talked about it in a previous episode. I don't blame him for that. If he needed to change the scenery, he could get it. Evander, for all intents and purposes, wanted out of Portland. And normally when this happens, these players go back overseas and MLS loses them. But because of the cash trade rule, aka a transfer, MLS was able to keep both these players, which they've invested a lot of time in, and you want to keep them because sometimes these players, some of them are homesick and they want to go back to Argentina or Brazil or Europe. Some of them just want to change the scenery, and some of them want a little bit more money, which they get because Dallas wanted Lucho Acosta and then Cincinnati wanted Evander. So Dallas gets a new number 10. Lucho Acosta's happy. Cincinnati get a new number 10. Evander is happy. And then Portland go out and sign David da Costa. So you get those two players still in MLS, and you had a new one. You know, I'm not talking about the individual clubs, but if you're MLS or if you're a viewer, you're excited about this. And the other thing about the cash trade rule, which is very advantageous for MLS teams, when you go out and buy a player from Europe or South America, you don't know, as talented as they are, if they're going to adapt to Major League Soccer. It's a different league. It is. So I'm not saying it's a harder league. I'm just saying it's not for everyone. And some players, very highly regarded, come here and just don't click. Whether it's the travel, whether it's the summer games, whatever it is, they don't click. But now you can get a big name player that you know has clicked. Dallas knows Lucho Acosta is good in MLS. Cincinnati knows Evander is good in MLS. So you don't have to risk going across the pond or down to South America to find it. So this cash trade is fantastic. And for Portland, they don't have a superstar number 10. We'll see what happens with da Costa. But they got $12 million in their pocket, plus add-ons. So the transfer, the in-league transfers, I'm going to call it that, is monumental. And to see it work there, and then you also had it with Jack McGlynn, Houston dropping some money, and Teddy Kudipietro going to Colorado, and Dejan Joveljic. And these guys move and they make more money at their new clubs, and the clubs are happy, and they don't have to risk going out for a player or wait for that player to develop. So it is a fantastic new part of this marketplace. It's just started, and we had bang, bang, Acosta and Evander. This is truly a game changer for this league. And it's, I think we all thought Acosta going to Estudiantes, Evander, I don't know where he might have gone. That would have, left a void. Not now. Not now. And then with all the great players that are already here, it's been a huge move. When you think of Emmanuel Latelat, record transfer to Atlanta, Kevin Denke, the old transfer record to Cincinnati, and so many more. You've got an exciting league with some good prime players, some good older players, and my third big thing about the upcoming MLS season, excellent younger players. We've never seen this. The under 22 initiative is really churning. And we see players come in. They don't all map out. They don't all pan out, I should say. But we see them come here, and develop. And young players want to come here because they see the example set by guys like Matty Bogusz or Facu Torres or Diego Gomez, who have come to MLS, had a good season or two, and then got in the money and made the move. It's not the under 22 is working. Jean Duran, although he was here for a cup of coffee with Chicago, this was the entry point for him to go to Aston Villa and then become a $70 million transfer to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Under 22 is working. And now we're going to see these under 22 players inherit the space in Major League Soccer. So while you want to look at Messi, and we'll talk more about Messi and Suarez in the next show, and you want to talk about Evander and Lucho Acosta, and you want to talk about Olivier Giroud and all these players, above 25 and 26 is the sweet spot and older. This under 22 spot accompanied by MLS Next Pro. MLS Next Pro is getting young players into the team. And now there's a way where in the old days, if you brought them up to the first team, you had 3 games and then you had to sign them to a full contract. I think it's like 7 or 8 games. You have a little more leeway. A lot of teams are going to lean into their MLS Next Pro squads. Kevin Sullivan is a great example. He is the golden child. I expect to see him. You look at, I like Omari Glasgow, who is at the Chicago Fire. A lot of young players coming through the Next Pros that are going to, we saw it with the Seattle Sounders, that are going to play a bigger role for the senior team. So many young players are still here. Obed Vargas, Jack McGlynn, Diego Luna, David Martinez. So that old guard of 22 under 22, along with the MLS Next Pro players coming up, along with the new under 22 players. I have a list here, but this is really impressive. Teams are spending $3-4 million on these players. Bruno Damiani at Philadelphia. He's 21. Nicolas Dubersaski, 20-year-old playmaker going to Austin FC in Argentine. Very high on him. And they'll let him develop. Lucas Sanabria going to the Galaxy. There's a young Ahmed Kassem going to Nashville SC. Players under the age of 22 that are choosing MLS as their next port of call and the next pathway to get them into being the biggest player they can be. So it's coming from the United States and it's coming from abroad. The cash transfer system's working and there's going to be more eyeballs on the league. I'm not sitting here going to tell you that MLS is the Premier League tomorrow. We have a long way to go. And maybe we go to the fall, spring schedule, and maybe one day we have Pro Rel. I believe one day we will. It's a long way away, but I think it's certainly there. And the relationships with Liga MX. There's a lot there. It's going to be flawed, but there's a lot there. And man, it's a lot more exciting than it was a year ago. And we got Messi and Suarez and Jordi Alba getting 2 billion likes from being at the Super Bowl. Oh, I forgot to mention this about MLS Next Pro. Super Bowl commercials. Apple's engaged. MLS, a lot more promotion. There's always room for more, but there's a lot more. The Soccer OG. We cover the U.S. men's national team. We cover the beautiful game. We cover MLS. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Let's get to 5,000. We'll be back next week with our MLS preview.